Hello and welcome to the 100K Signature Series. Now, each day over the next 5 days, I'm going to be bringing you a new podcast episode that will show you different ways you could reach 100K in revenue by the end of this year. And I promise it is going to be super valuable. So if you have not already subscribed to Signature Online Course Secrets, this is your time to do so. And please, as you're going for a walk, as you're driving in your car, listen in over the next 5 days to see what is possible for you and really open your eyes to the different types of offer suites that you could build or have in your business. Now, you may already have a great amount of revenue coming through from one-to-one services. Maybe you already have a big audience, and as you're listening to this, you're like, go bigger. But also listening into potentially the simplicity of what it might look like for your offer suite. Maybe you are doing way too much one-to-one and delivery and you want to scale that back to a more low ticket product and want to know exactly how that might work. Well, this is my specialty. I have in this 5-day series low ticket options, higher ticket options, one-to-one type offers, completely calendar free options, more complex offer suites, single offer suites, and both a combination of live launching and evergreen. So this is very much a choose your own adventure style, but they all have a couple of things in common. One is one of the products is always the hero signature offer. This is the fastest way to scale your authority, learn what your conversions are, and optimize your business for peace and profit. And they're all time leveraged of some sort. So basically, if group offers are your thing, or if you want them to be, this series is for you. Now, 2 side notes. Number 1, the waitlist is currently open for the Peace and Profit Mastermind, and this is where you can work with me as your personal consultant to strategize, launch, and scale your signature offer suite. Now, you want to be on the waitlist for this Cart Doors Open, and here's why. We have an exceptional offer for anyone who is on the waitlist who applies to join us when applications open on the 1st of May. Here's what the offer is. Number 1, you'll be the first in line to join us, and we may not make it to public launch given that at present we are currently at capacity. You will also, as soon as you join us and accept your place, have access to our digital resources, from templates to trainings to click and deploy resources. We have so much there. So if you want to get started early, get your ducks in a row, that's a great opportunity to do that. You will receive a $500 fast action discount, 2 one-to-one calls with me, and a bespoke strategy. So let me just be clear. The last strategy that I put together for one of our masterminders was 26 pages with a clear and concise plan of her offers, monthly and launch KPIs, core messaging angles, marketing channels, and more. So if you're listening to these podcast episodes and you want to dive deeper into exactly what would work for you and your business and your niche and how you can reach your revenue goals, then this is something that I think you will love. And all you need to do is put your name on the waitlist for the Peace and Profit Mastermind. So if you want something highly tailored for you and your business, you have nothing to lose by checking out the show notes below and putting your name on the waitlist. Now, the next thing is, let's say you right now are in the car driving or you're going for a walk and I am telling you all of these numbers and game plans. You might be thinking, I want to see this visually, and I've got you. All you need to do is DM me on Instagram with the number that is relevant for the day of the series. So it's the 100K signature series. So day 1 is 101. Day 2 is 102, day 3 is 103, and so on. There's no opt-in, literally just DM me the number and I'll shoot you a PDF cheat sheet of exactly what I've discussed with the breakdown of what we've gone through in today's episode. Okay, let's go. Hi and welcome to day 1 of our 100K signature series, where I break down how you can reach 100K with your signature offer by the end of the year. So in today's simulation, what we have is a front-facing signature offer that is a $397 offer. On the back end of that offer, we have an upsell. So that's going to be a premium upsell. Maybe 20% of people will take that up. And then what you're going to have is a continuity offer, which is for people who complete the online course and then want something else. So let me break down exactly what this would look like. So your signature offer will be a $397 offer. Now this can work for both business to consumer and business to business. And it's for someone who wants to navigate probably from primarily one-to-one services into something that is more online course based. So this is where you would come to radically remove things from your calendar. And this is actually ideal for someone who prefers marketing to sales. So if you are someone who doesn't mind posting on Instagram or is happy to use ads and things like that, then this would be a pretty good funnel for you. And you're going to operate on a live launch basis. So what that means is you're going to have sort of sprint and rest seasons in your business. If you are running your business around school holidays, this is the type of business model that I would probably recommend for you. So what that would look like in terms of the online course is something that is about 6 to 8 weeks long. As an online course, it's not really going to have much live support or live calls. You might have a Q&A forum. You might have 1 or 2 like Q&A/implementation calls through that 6 to 8 week period. But it's really definitely not going to include any one-to-one. It's definitely not going to include lots of ongoing support, although I am typically in the camp of providing lifetime access for online courses. Because if you're anything like me, sometimes it takes me a long time to go through it. But what you'll have is live calls that would exist in the continuity offer. So if we stick at the moment to just the online course, this is what it would look like. You would run a full launch for that online course in June. You're going to aim to enroll about 25 people. And at a 3% conversion rate, that's about 850 leads into your launch runway for that program. That would bring you to a revenue for that program of about $9,925. You are then going to have July and August off if you're in the US and Canada, and that's your school break. Even if you're in the UK, you can just chill and then, roll with a bit of delivery, do a low lift upsell into the continuity offer, but then mostly roll with lead gen for the next launch, which would happen in September. So what we want to do between June and September is really quite aggressively list build in order to build for that next launch in September. You're going to want to have in that launch leads cycle about 2,200 leads. So between your lead magnet and your webinar or conversion event, whether it's a challenge, whatever, that's kind of the numbers that you're aiming for. Again, let's call 3% the benchmark for our leads. That would be a $25,805 launch. Amazing. So you could be now, if you started now, let's say we worked together in the mastermind or we didn't, and you started building out your sales pages, your lead generation, you started looking at Facebook ads that could work and building that funnel, you would land by September with like $35,000 in revenue in your business if you are on benchmark and took the action that was required. You would then do a low lift offer for Black Friday, and you would offer a discount. And let's say we had 45 people into our launch for Black Friday, then we would be looking at about $13,000 revenue in November for Black Friday, just a discount, like $100 discount to the program. We sell it for $297. And then in December, we gear up for a big launch. Now, you might split some of this revenue from December to January. At the end of the year, I like to do something called a double dip launch. We do a launch and an intake with maybe an incentive in December and something that people can sort of get started with in December, but with the intention that the program will really only formally begin in January at some point, which then gives you the opportunity to do another sales pitch in January. So it's like I call it a double dip launch. So let's say that you are on par with all of your list building, you are consistently growing and consistently list building, then you would have 75 sales again in December. And that would land you with another $29,775 in revenue. So overall, if you were sort of using this strategy, let's say that was the only product that you have and you had a fully free calendar, what would that free up for you in terms of lead generation, in terms of optimizing and creating sales pages, and in terms of really putting your energy towards your launch runway? You would land at the end of the year with 65,505. Now, if you already have an audience, if you already have a big audience and you're like, I could generate that number of leads pretty easily, the sky's your limit. You can enroll as many people as you want in this 497 program because it is highly scalable. There's almost no delivery time, and that, for me, when I was running my life coaching business, that felt so freeing. And this is exactly how I generated in 18 months, fairly quickly after launching my business, $150,000 from this one program. Now you're like, oh, that's only $65,000 revenue. Where do we pick up the rest of the money? And this is where signature offer suites don't necessarily mean you have just one offer. And as you see, like as we go across this series, you will see that I have some options with just one offer. But what you might do in this case is have an upsell. So let's say that 20% of people take up this option to a maximum of about 15 people, because it would be potentially something non-scalable. Then this might be a 997 offer, could include some one-to-one coaching, could be a personal audit of some sort. Maybe it's a personalized website template. Or if you're in health and wellness, it could be like a personalized testing protocol and supplement plan for someone. So really the sky's the limit. But what would be something that you could provide that would really give that personal support to someone in implementing the plan? So if you upgrade 20% of people into that offer, you are adding another nearly $25,000 into that mix. Now that alone gets you really close to $100,000. But here's where we can add in more revenue that is potentially compounding revenue into your products and services that also potentially allows you to support people more in ensuring they complete the program and ensuring they get the result that you want them to get. So what you would do is on the back end of your product suite, you would add a continuity offer. So that would be in the form of a higher ticket membership on the back end. Now, I am not a fan of memberships because memberships are not necessarily income or profit generating products. You also typically would need a higher volume, but when you have people who are already raving fans who simply just want to continue on with you and have some form of access to you, this can be a really low lift way to add revenue into your product suite by potentially just having a Slack channel and a series of live calls. So what that would be is $147 per month. You would have a churn. So churn is the number of percentage of people who are leaving the membership. In this model, I've accounted for 6% churn. If you have a membership of any description and your churn is above 10%, huge red flag. Ideally, you want it to be under 5%. So in this scenario, I've made the churn 6%. And what you would do is you would run your live program. This is also why it's important that we check that all of our programs work together well, not just create products individually and then be a mishmash of how to promote them. But in your online course, there's not really any live support. It's priced as such to be more self-study. You're not going to necessarily promote that it's self-study. But in your continuity offer, this is the memberships at about $147 per month. This is where you may have live calls, right? So in the signature online course that you have, this is where we're going to do the thing. Then in the continuity offer, what we're saying is, now I'm going to help you implement and maintain it and stay accountable and grow to the next level. So it's $147 per month. It's a really easy way for us to generate some great recurring revenue, start the month with good recurring revenue into the business. And $147, I know that so many, particularly of the health and wellness practitioners out there, maybe even like the Instagram coaches who are like, oh, hang on, but there's a Reels membership for everyone else does them for $37. Scrap that thinking, because it is all in the way that you promote and sell that offer. $147 per month is the same cost as a naturopathic visit. It's the same cost as a single personal trainer visit. It's also radically cheaper than a social media manager. So this wouldn't necessarily be, let's stick with Instagram Reels, you once a month being like, here's some Reels you can take. What this would be maybe you personally auditing people's captions for, once a week or once a fortnight, giving people suggestions, running live challenges and things like that. So really considering how you could elevate your offer to make it hugely valuable. Could be a naturopath in your pocket, health and fitness, where you're reviewing people's meal plans every week and things like that. So that is the offer. Let me just quickly recap. We have a $397 online course, which is supported by two things on the back end. One is a $997 premium upgrade, potentially some one-to-one calls, a custom plan, a custom audit. Then you also have a continuity offer. So everyone in your signature course is offered a $147 membership. That is where the live community exists, where they get access to you personally and they get to continue on. All up, if you follow this plan, you are at nearly $110,000 in revenue. Now, if you are like, where would I even get the funds to generate 850 leads in June to get 25 sales? Let me just give you the answer. What I would do in this scenario is in April, shake the tree. I would go for where is my low-hanging fruit, and I would pitch some form of one-to-one offer that's exclusive, not usually offered, to my warmest leads. We do this in the mastermind when people start. We want people to make back their investment ASAP. And so where they don't have necessarily a huge audience to start with, we'll just get that little cash injection so that we can put some of that revenue into future building for the next launches of their program. Now, again, if you want the plan for this, just DM me on Instagram 101. I've got a handy little cheat sheet. It's going to give you all of the data. But this plan is how you could potentially have a really free calendar and make $114,227 by 31st of December. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to catch you tomorrow at the next episode.